Welcome back to Indian Trace. I have a really great opportunity after 5 years of collecting. A question came in about quartz and how big the quartz points I find are. And these are my biggest. And I do want to put it in this context and say this. This is all I have. It's 12. And I mean, sometimes when you look at it, makes a great case and it looks like a whole lot, but after approximately 13,000 artifacts in 5 years, and I don't necessarily find a whole lot of big broken ones either, not at all, but these are the big ones that I found and the only large ones that I found. So say for example 2 years ago, and we're going to take a look at some of these because they're fantastic points. I'm going to start on the top row. 2 years ago, I wouldn't have had the understanding that finding any one of, let's say, these 4 points across the top. These are great points. Any one of these was a rarity. 1 year ago, say 3 years ago, I wouldn't have had any idea. Now I know, after 5 years, I'm just going to put it like this if I can get my words straight. I know that finding any big point in quartz is super rare. I didn't know that 3 years ago. I didn't know that 4 years ago. My context has changed. A couple of these I found this year. It might be 2 a year. And I find a lot of artifacts. So that changes the way I think about things, I think. But look at this point here. Site 2. The turtle. And this is a fairly new point. And I want to go over these because these are large coins. The reason I'm doing that is because I have realized now, which I couldn't have realized before, that large quartz points, fine ones, these are all fine. I don't find big crude quartz points either. I just don't find them. These 12 is all I have. I might have 1 or 2 more that are not on here, but that's it. You're talking 12 and 13,000. That's crazy. So that really gives you an idea how rare it is. And they are resilient. Of course, this material is. That's from the turtle. Here's a piece that I found early on in Site 1 down at the easement. Of course, all quartz is extremely translucent. Extremely. And so 5 years later, I thought about things and didn't find a whole lot today, but I thought about, what I might be able to share out there for those of you who love artifacts. And just to let you know how rare what you're seeing here is. And it helps with my mind frame. Because I just looked in there and said, hey, you know what? Those big quartz pieces are really rare. This came from Notchville. Strawberry quartz variety. And hopefully with the light in here, you just are able to pick up on how translucent they all are. If I held them all up to the light, it'd go right through. It's just pretty simple. They all are plainly translucent. But big stuff. Love this point. It was right on the first steps of the jump off. Which of course in the last, I think, year has been under crop lock. Beans take forever around here to harvest, and I think right before that they split something in there for a crop, so I just couldn't even get out on this site. But that's from Site 5E. Absolutely great point. I remember 3 years ago when I found it, I said that was great, and since you're finding so much, I just didn't have the context that it was rare. Not at all in terms of its size for quartz. Now here's a point that I found just right here in 2016, I think. Maybe it was 2017, the beginning of the year over at the Cove. And so if you, just hanging out, you wanted a little bit of a tour of some of these finds, I guess the real context is you're seeing something that, at least around where I'm from, and some of you don't even find quartz, around where I'm from, this is super rare. To find points like this. Enough said. If you've happened to be listening or seeking or desiring to know what's going on in the world, what's going on with politics or what have you, I study it a lot. And I have about only eight, and that's not a lot of, when you think about channels you sub, eight's not a lot. So I've really been, I guess you could say, anal about which sites I decide I'm going to sub for information. And I contrast them. This is a great point right here. I always love that point from the plateau. Since they are rare, I'll never forget the find and the context of the find. Here's a point from Hidden Hill. Just pure quartz. But with the subs that I have that are political interest, there's 8 of those. And then, the other rest of the 25 are artifact channels. And I try to discipline myself to only keep 25 subs so I don't have to get tangled up in the information cycle where there's just too much stuff to see and too little time. I don't like to get involved in that. I want to keep things simple. Look at this piece. This piece has been seen before, but it's found down at Saponi. And I always think when I go down there, well, maybe I'll find the brother for that one point. And I found this maybe 1 year after I first started finding Indian artifacts. And I didn't even know. I knew it was a nice piece, but I didn't know it was special. There's nothing like this piece of quartz right here that I've ever found. You can see that. Not a thing. It's got a couple dings, a couple pings out of it, but nothing. Then I found this one this year. Found it out at W Properties. Of course, it's a high-grade quartz, serrated. I don't think there's another serrated piece. There's one more serrated piece, so at least in this size, that was exceptional and rare. So I think why I shared just a little comment about the links that I have is that I believe, and if you know Indian Trace or if you just drop by here, I really think you can trust those sources. Now, as it is always with information, I continue to trust, but I will verify. And I don't care who it is who's talking, whether it's the president, whether it's another journalist. And so I contrast that with many journalists that I trust. And then you're able to formulate and come to the truth of a story and what's really going on. Here's a great piece right here from the Hawk. Check this piece out. Reduced right off on the base so they could hafted it in. The thickness didn't matter too much. Maybe they couldn't get that off, but this is super strong. Imagine this stuff doesn't get broken after 50, 100, 150 farm cycles, possibly 200. From Site 5E, a strong, strong point. Just a killer. Big quartz. Big quartz rarity. Big quartz. And for some of us out here, just a political interest comment as I finish up. And look at this piece from the Falcon. This is an incredible piece. The base is made to look that way. Some of us out there actually believed for maybe a short period of time, maybe unfortunately some of us out there actually believe to this day that there was something with our president, President Trump, and Russia in terms of a relationship, or I'd say an inappropriate relationship, which there never was, proven from the beginning, no evidence, after a year of investigation and lies. But we knew a year and a half ago, that there indeed was misappropriations and criminal, look at this piece, activity that was associated with the past administration. I could start listing names, household names that you all know, but it's inevitable that the news will come out. Whether it's Fox News or Hannity, if they report it, listen, it was reported and covered in depth, in nauseam, almost a year and a half ago. It is well known, the problems, appropriation, the pay for play, which is just sad that it's been so biased that so many people just are fine eating what they hear and they don't vet it. That's an incredible tip right there from the Falcon. It is smooth there at the base. You can see where they relieved it. It's a great color. But I won't get ranted and raving. Just check out some of the subs that I have. Of course, I'll try to decide a link that's appropriate and just try to get some artifacts up there today so you get a real up close and personal. There ain't nobody in the world that sees my artifacts this close. Nope. At this point, and I will consider it, I do not hang them on my wall. You're not going to see any if you come in my house. This is a great piece from the garden found this year. As I finish up here and the time just clicks by. It is definitely and specifically serrated in its own way. I would consider that serrations. And they are sharp. The piece is definitely sharp as a marl mountain. It was a great piece, great find from there. Unique. Now when I come across big pieces of quartz that are made and fashioned and worked, many of you guys who nap out there know how difficult some of these are probably to make. I'm not positive. I believe they are. Look at that piece. I immediately can pause and say, man, this is a rare find that I'm picking up right here. A rare find. So, from Indian Trace to all you guys out there and gals that absolutely love quartz, this will be good for you. Big quartz rarity. And they're rare. All in all, I hope you find out there. Look small, miss small.